Welcome to the Global Wellness HQ family of podcasts. We are your international headquarters for resources and ideas and insight in relation to the 9 elements of holistic wellness. Join us as we interview local and international wellness experts and learn how you can implement and improve one element or dimension of wellness at a time. Our experts will share their practical tips on wellness in one of these core areas: emotional, intellectual, occupational, physical, environmental, financial, spiritual, social, or habitual. We created our family of podcasts as a resource for anyone who is looking to integrate the 9 elements of holistic wellness into their daily lives. Welcome to the show. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I have my new friend, Barnum. Sorry, Brandon, with me. Brandon, why don't you tell people what you do, and then we're going to talk about some fun stuff.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'm the CEO of HOA.com. And yes, I did say HOA, like homeowner associations. We're actually on a mission to revolutionize how associations are run. And really, we connect homeowners to professionals they can trust. So, I'm passionately committed to helping business owners and professionals who serve homeowners get more business.
I love it, and that's why we're here because I think I'm always the crazy guy who's saying, you should build community, and then, I think people have different views of it. So, you guys are doing some really interesting things. How do you partner with HOA associations, the homeowners associations? How do you partner with realtors? And then we're going to talk about the art and science of referrals.
All right, cool. Yeah, so different, right? With the professionals, they join our referral network, and we don't sell leads like an Angie's List or a home advisor. We're truly a referral network. We have tools to help our professionals, our members, get their word out and really connect on what we call hyper local social farming. So realtors, for example, they come on board, they apply to become a pro, they get a background check. Once we review them, they're certified into our network, they set up a profile, and then they will upload their trusted team, invite their referral partners. And so we have a co-marketing engine that's built into what we're doing. And that way it helps everybody market together. And then our pros will license individual communities where they want to be the exclusive realtor, financial planner, mortgage lender, painter, plumber, what have you. And then we remarket them on a consistent basis to all those homeowners in that neighborhood.
I love it. And let's talk about hyper focused because one of my little pet peeves, I've worked with I'm a recovering accountant. That part of me is long dead, but I've worked with electricians, plumbers, trades, and the biggest waste of their time is driving all over the place, and my observation as the accountant, you're not making money when your butt's in your truck. You make money when you're outside of your truck and your truck's parked.
Right.
I actually had a plumber, I'm not kidding. He was in 3 states, and his people were driving from their home base in their home state to neighboring states. So let's talk
Oh,
about hyper specific because
yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like you and I are going to break the world in a good way with that little gem right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's hyper local social farming. So what we do is we're creating online community pages for every neighborhood in America, like next door, if you will. And then we recommend top trusted pros to those homeowners, kind of like an Angie or a home advisor. And we also have real estate listing and real estate valuation reports, kind of like a Zillow. So we're creating all of that in one homeowner centric real estate ecosystem. And then you asked earlier, how do we promote to the pros, or how do we help the HOAs? The way that we help them is we actually activate a community. We survey all the homeowners to find out how they rate their HOA. And then we help host different community impact events. So whether it's a neighborhood barbecue, an ice cream social, sometimes people will bring a big bounce house out to their community. So we have 32 different community impact events and campaigns that we help the HOAs implement on a neighborhood basis.
I love that. And I think for my listeners, whether you're on the HOA board or you're in an HOA community, I think you might want to have a chat with Brandon. So let's talk about you, and I love this in your bio that you actually grew your revenue tenfold. Um, I'm going to ask a question I know the answer to, and I know you know the answer as well.
Okay.
Um, when it comes to a new client,
Yeah.
would you rather have someone you acquired through cold traffic on, say, Facebook, or somebody you acquired through a referral, and why?
Okay. Wow. What a setup, man. That's just a total tee up. Yeah. Always by referral. What we teach is raving referrals. That's the name of my book. And we have a whole course and program. But referrals are so much more valuable. In fact, in the B2B world, 84% of sales in the B2B world start with a referral. So if you're not getting a referral to open a door for you, it's tough sledding and it takes a long time to get close. Referrals are also 16% more profitable overall. And if you are referred to a client, they're 400% more likely to hire you than if you just find them on Facebook, for example. So no, we're a strong advocate for by referral only, and really just building your business by referral is the only way to go.
I love it. And the reason that was so well set up is I get that question all the time.
Okay.
And and here's the thing, and I'll just share my math with you. Somebody spends X thousand dollars, they get 10,000 names on a list. I don't even know what to call that. I'm not even going to call it a prospect list, but they get 10,000 eyeballs that paused and said, clicked on your free thing. And then at the end of the day, maybe 3% become clients. Um, what people don't recognize in my world is that when you get really good at that pay per click thing, you also have to get really good at marketing and sales and conversion and funnels and blah, blah, blah. Um, I love the simplicity of referrals. I mean, it just, so that's when I saw your profile, I was like, oh my God, Brandon, I need to chat. So, um, now, this sounds very scientific. I mean, I love the fact that you know your numbers and things like that. Um, how many communities are you in at this point?
Well, we're creating online community pages for all of the 370,000 HOAs in the US, as well as the non-HOA communities. So I just asked my CTO that very question yesterday. I don't have an answer of the total that includes both HOAs and non-HOA communities, but I believe it's over 600,000. And we're creating the dynamically populated pages for every neighborhood in the US. If it's got a subdivision in the tax record, then we're creating a community page for that neighborhood.
I love that. So let's talk about referrals. What are some of the examples of people that fit in your world? Because I mean, I can draw it out in my head, and I envision, the carpenters, the plumbers, the handymen, but
Absolutely.
I'm gonna guess that there's more categories than just that.
Oh, there are. I think we have over 300 categories in our database, but we recommend that people focus on building referral partnerships with the people that they already know, like, and trust. And we give our pros a sheet of the 100 top home service categories, right? Every one you just mentioned plus. And it's all about professionals who serve homeowners, right? And the reality is that most of those pros try and build their business by themselves instead of creating partnerships. And we did a survey. We surveyed over 2,000 professionals and found that 79% had two or fewer referral partners, sending them at least one deal a quarter. So 32% had zero referral partners, 47% had one or two, and overall it was just abysmal, 79%. So that's a huge opportunity for those of you who are out there building referral partnerships, because when you've got somebody that's committed to being your partner and building their business with you, then it gives you that consistent source of referrals for years to come.
And one of the questions I get, and by the way, for some reason my LinkedIn profile is a lightning rod for people who are like, "Oh, we'll sell you leads. We'll sell," I'm like, please don't. I don't
Right.
want your
Right.
leads. Anybody who's on a list, please don't. What are some of the things you look for or tell people to look for in a good referral partner? Because I think that's probably the reason the results are so abysmal is people don't know what a good referral partner is.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Number one, you always want to start with strategically who is serving your perfect prospects every day, right? So that's where it starts. If they're not out there, like you're in most cases, you either serve homeowners or business owners. Now, you might be in B2C where homeowners is a subset and you serve renters too. We focus on homeowners because that's the more affluent marketplace. And obviously in HOA world, that's where it is. But then beyond that, you really have to have a fit with somebody. You have to, number one, make sure that they're doing business the way that you like to do business. And there's sort of a code of conduct that we ask people to agree to abide by here at HOA.com. But you need to spend time with people because you're only going to send business to people that you're confident in, that you trust are going to take good care of your clients, right? So it starts with that mutual client, but we recommend that you look at three things. Number one, who am I already referring business to? And how can I strengthen that relationship so they're referring back to me? Number two, who is referring business to me that I can increase the number of referrals that they're sending my way? And then number three, who do you know, like, and trust that is in that industry that maybe you've never formalized a referral partnership with, right? And we do this memory jogger, and as people look at the categories, they're like, oh my gosh, I went to high school with somebody that does that, or college, or I'm at church with somebody that's in that industry that they've never thought about formalizing their referral partnerships. So we teach them the referral partner blueprint, and this really helps them to identify who to partner with, how to partner, and you can download this for free at hoa.com/blueprint. So it's a great guide to answer all those questions after this call.
Brandon and I were clearly separated at birth because Brandon and I have like almost an identical tool, the memory jogger for the
Nice.
B2B space. And
Yeah, perfect.
it amazes me, and I'm just going to share this, how many people don't know who their referral partner should be. Like they just, and it fascinates me when you get, say, pick a community in Phoenix, you get 10 different people spending their money and all shouting on the street corner. It just sounds like noise, but
Right.
you sound like the conductor. You come in and you tune up the instruments, and all of a sudden we're hearing this symphony. And, it is amazing because a lot of that, in what I'm sensing, and I want you to confirm this, is a lot of that marketing noise goes away and sales, because you're focused on relationships. Is that a fair comment?
Oh yeah, huge. And I love the symphony sort of example there, because it's really what we've created in our system is we have this home safe report. And so once a pro joins our referral network, and by the way, it's super affordable. It's less than $1 a day and far less than you pay to be in like a BNI or a LATIP, any of those groups. But once they come on to HOA.com and they create their profile, the next thing they do is they invite their trusted team. And then we help them formalize that partnership. But better yet, we've got a co-marketing engine. And so the third step in the process, so number one, create your profile. Number two, invite your trusted team. And number three, you upload your database into our system, your database of homeowners. Our system then every month automatically sends those homeowners a report from you about not only their valuation of the home. That's the first thing, and that's the most interesting thing to most homeowners, and why they're going to open the email from you, because they know that the price of their home has either gone up or down. And just like checking your stock portfolio, you want to
Yeah.
know what your home is doing. So it's automatically sent out to every homeowner in your database from you. But it not only features you, it also features your trusted team. So all of the professionals that you've partnered with on the HOA.com platform, now you're promoting them and they're promoting you. And it's automated co-marketing. every month. It's just set it and forget it. You're going to spend some time on the front end setting up your system, and then you just let it run for you. And every month it's getting the word not only to your clients and keeping you top of mind, but now you've got a whole team of people that is promoting you to their clients. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we see, Jeff, out of like BNI and other groups like that, is people make good connections, but they don't take it to the next level. They don't actually market their referral partners. And that's what we've built that is totally revolutionary.
Well, and I think that's, I won't pick on any particular networking group, but the reality is you give me a stack of 50 business cards. I'm not personally smart enough to remember all 50 people in that stack. I mean, I want to, I sincerely do, but the reality is, Robin Dunbar, I don't know if you've encountered Dunbar's number. He's a British psychologist or anthropologist who said, the average human can only maintain about 150 relationships. I tried to prove him wrong, and he's right every time. It's like
Yeah,
there's like a cliff, it's like a tabletop. I have so much room, and whether I mean it or not, somebody always falls off the table, and then I'm like, hey, what happened to that person?
that's right.
So I love this systemizing of it, and I think that's one of my big things in life. If you give me a rock star networker, um, life is only as good as that person's memory or their focus or their mood that day. But if you have a system around it, even a mediocre networker can build referrals and things like that. Um, and one of the things I love about a good referral network is it works rain or shine, day or night, awake or asleep. And even if you, for whatever reason, decide you don't want to pay the dollar a day, it still echoes long after you stop paying for it. Whereas most other activities, you pay to play, and quite frankly, there's that ramp up where you're paying for the algorithms to learn what you do, and then you get there, and then the minute you stop, you just fall right off the edge.
Yeah, it's true. And you're absolutely right. The referral network works for you around the clock. The reality is you need to be the solution to somebody else's challenge, right? And if you, as you partner with other people, they serve the same ideal perfect prospect that you do, right? And they've got clients that have challenges that you can solve. And so when you are the solution to other people's clients' challenges, then they love you and they send you tons of business because you're helping them help their people.
And that's, for what it's worth, I've spent a lot of time teaching the transactional people how to be more relational. And I realized I'm just going to put my energy into the relational people because transactional people exhaust me. And,
Yeah.
and nothing against them, right? But it's hard work helping them because they're always saying, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Um, Now, one of the things we wanted to talk about, we're going to go on a slight tangent. What is the difference between, in your opinion, between living life by default and by design?
Oh, huge. Living life by design is knowing exactly what you want to get out of life and what you want to create. For me personally, I have all my goals written down and I've got them right here on my desk and I review them often. So, for those of you who are just listening, I've got pages of written goals here through the year 2050. So, I've got the
Wow.
next 27 years kind of mapped out, places I want to go, companies I want to partner with, people I want to meet, experiences I want to have. And that's really living life by design. And it was taught to me by my mentor, Mark Victor Hansen of Chicken Soup for the Soul fame. This man sold over 600 million books. But when I met him on May 18th, 2004, he really challenged me to write down my goals. I didn't have written goals at that point, but the following week I went to Hawaii and I took the time to write 338 goals, and I was amazed at how quickly some of those came to pass. And some of them were huge. Like, I wanted to meet Bono, the lead singer of U2. I met Bono in 6 months. I said I wanted to meet him within 1 year. I met him in 6 months. At that point, I hadn't really traveled much. And within a year, I had gone on a round the world trip. I had been to Asia, Africa, Europe, South America. And all of that happened because I declared it. And that's living life by design. Most people don't know what they want out of life. They don't know where they're going. So they just go day by day, and that's living life by default. So be intentional. Create at least 101 goals. That's how Mark taught it to me. And write them down with a victory date of exactly when you want to accomplish them. You'll be amazed how quickly things start to happen for you.
Wow, I'm a big fan of goals, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm usually a 5-year goal kind of person.
Sure.
Um, I feel like maybe that's too limiting now all of a sudden. So um, that's fascinating. And it's funny that you say life by design. I would go even deeper and say, networking by design, because I'm fascinated when somebody comes up to me and I say, "Who can I introduce you to?" I don't know. Well, sorry, but if you don't know, how do I know?
100%. Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm glad you bring up that example because I hear that all the time. People aren't clear. That's why we teach the referral partner blueprint. And the first part of that is getting clear on who you want to partner with, right? Doing that sort of inventory of who are the people that you already know, like, and trust, but you've just never talked to them about doing business together. And why is that? Well, mostly it's because people only know what they know and they don't know what they don't know. And so if you don't have a vision for it, then you don't take action. So that's what the referral partner blueprint is meant to do is number one, give you a blueprint and show you exactly step by step what to do. But the other piece of it, it's got 21 co-marketing campaigns. Co-marketing campaigns that typically don't cost anything, or if anything, they cost very little. But it's ways that you can sit down with your partner, have a one sheet where you just go through the 21 and you identify, okay, Jeff, here's what I'm going to do for you. And you say, here's what you're going to do for me. And by the end of that meeting, you actually have a plan of action where both people walk away and now you're helping each other grow your business together.
I love that, and I think that's so magical. Like everybody's got this, again, it's transactional people. I paid for ads and I got this, but the magic is, I encourage. I'm working on a project with a local school, and the idea is I bet. And I walked into the principal and I said, I'm willing to bet. There's a percentage. I don't know the number, but there's a percentage of your parents that are business owners, and they're spending all this marketing money to find people in your neighborhood. What if they all made a donation and the school sent out a newsletter? And they're like, no, we're going to go with the, seed packets, and, we're going to earn $1 for every seed packet we sell. And I'm like, why wouldn't you have people paying, a couple $100 a month to keep sending stuff home with the kids? And they're like, well, that's not the way it's done here. And I'm like, well, maybe we need to rethink that. So,
Well, that's because you don't have entrepreneurs, you have educators, and they just want to serve their people, and
yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. But that's an entrepreneurial mindset. Like I love that, Jeff, because you're thinking outside the box, and there is no box, right? That's what we learn as entrepreneurs is the only limitation are the ones that we self-impose. And so I think
Yeah.
that's a brilliant idea. I go to my son coaches high school football. And so I was just at a high school football game last Friday night. And I love how at the high school level, at least, they have sponsors, right? And so they have these companies that want to be a part of the community, and they're willing to invest their marketing dollars into hyper local social farming, if you will, a different version of it. But the PA announcer is saying, hey, this first down brought to you by People's Mortgage, right? And so I was literally sitting with the People's Mortgage rep, the agent, and she was talking about the fact that, she's so committed to this community. And by being there every single Friday night and by having the name on a banner and called out from the stands, it gets them in relationship. And that's what it's all about, right? Find a community that you can lead, that you can be visible in. At HOA.com, we do it into the neighborhoods. And that way people are retargeted, remarketed to those homeowners on a regular basis. But whether you serve homeowners, you serve business owners, find a community, build a community, and then keep your name in front of them over and over again.
Well, and just to really talk about that hyper local. I love the social farming because, I have a blog post that's coming. The hunter gatherer societies, most of them disappeared or got taken over by the agricultural societies because we weren't always looking for food. And I find it funny. Realtors are my little pet peeve, so I'm going to share this with you, Brandon.
Okay.
Um, I had a realtor who said, "I serve the city of Atlanta."
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't believe you." And they said, "Yes, I do." And I said, "So I've been to Atlanta. I know how far it is north to south, forget
Yeah.
east to west." I said, "Somebody calls you and says, 'I want to look at a house in the far north and you're down in the far south. Are you going to get in your car?'" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, absolutely." And I'm like, "Without complaining?" And they're like, and it's like, instead of trying to say I serve all of Atlanta, pick Kennesaw, something that you
Yeah.
can drive
Right.
across in 10 minutes and be everywhere in that community.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I used to live in Beaverton, Oregon, and there was this area I lived in called Murray Hill, and it was about 10 communities. And you would drive the streets of these 10 neighborhoods in Murray Hill, and you would see two out of every three for sale signs would say for sale. Brian Bellairs. We used to call him the mayor of Murray Hill because this guy farmed the area so effectively that as a homeowner, if you were going to sell your house, you felt like an idiot if you didn't call Brian. And when you did call him, he's like, "Oh, I love your home. I know exactly where it is. And, I've got a stable of buyers that are looking for homes just like you. So if you list with me, man, we're going to create a bidding war and we're going to have your house sold in no time." And he did over and over and over again. I just did an interview 2 weeks ago with a guy named Jason Mitchell, and he's got his own real estate team that he's created, and they're on track to do 9,500 sales of homes in 2023. So I said, "Okay, Jason, what's your secret to success?" And he said exactly that. He said, "Look, when I started, I focused on specific neighborhoods and I made sure that I was there doing open houses. If there was a new listing, he would send a postcard
Yeah.
of a different realtor's new listings, but he would send it to every homeowner in that neighborhood with just listed. And at the very bottom in small little print, it would say listed by and
Yeah.
somebody else's name. But they would see that card from Jason Mitchell. They would assume that it was his listing. And he just made sure and kept his face, name, and brand top of mind. And that's what helped him win so much business.
Well, and that's, here we have a local realtor. She's got her face on every billboard across the entire city. And Edmonton, where I live, is just over 1 million people. Again, I can't help but think, most people, "Oh, she must be successful. Her face is on the billboards." And I look at the spacing between the billboards and I'm like, I feel sorry for her because she's very much the hunter gatherer and she's hoping
Mm.
for that deal. And it's like, just be the mayor of your neighborhood. Like, walk the streets, walk your dog, get to know people. And one of my favorite things, so Brandon, I'm going to share something that's maybe a little too much information. I love Google Maps and I love
Yeah.
taking little pin guy and I drop him in a neighborhood and I walk up and down all the streets and take a note of all of the trade trucks I see.
Hmm.
People say, "Oh, I don't know how to find clients. I don't know how to find trades." And I'm like, they're in every neighborhood. You just,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and it just fascinates me that people are going to look and look and look. And it's, again, I'd rather be really successful in one neighborhood than barely known across the city of Phoenix, for example.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, we're working on a direct mail campaign where once you serve a client, you can instantly send a postcard out to all of the other homeowners that are right around that homeowner. But one of the things that we teach and train is, okay, let's say you own a landscaping business or a pool cleaning business or whatever it is. What if you created a special where you gave it to every single homeowner in a specific neighborhood and community? What if you became the top trusted landscaping company in that neighborhood? And now, instead of having to drive your trucks and coordinate cross town and burn all this gas and waste all this time, now you're doing 10, 20 neighbors at one point in one day, and you're more efficient, you're making more money. You can even pass on a discount to the homeowners if you want, because again, you're more profitable. So that's one of the things that we teach and train and help people to become, is the top trusted pro in their local neighborhood.
Yeah. And that's the, like, if I could contribute one thing to the world, it would be trades. You make money when you're out of your truck, not when you're in it. So park the
Right.
damn truck, walk up and down, know your neighborhood. Like, literally, I would rather be the electrician for a neighborhood with 250 homes than serve 250 homes across, again, Phoenix traffic. You spend time sitting there on the freeway going, well, I'm not getting, I'm not going to meet my quota today. And, again, when you're scattered like that, your default, you're letting the universe tell you where life is going to take you today. Whereas if you design your business, and so in case anybody's wondering where Jeff sits, I'm clearly a fan of Brandon and his HOA concept. So I'm going to ask you a really stupid question, Brandon. What
Okay.
stops? Okay, so the investment is less than $365 or somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah.
You build community, you do the farming. What's the most common excuse? I'm going to just say excuse because I don't believe it's a reason. What do people say when they say, this isn't a fit for me? Or, do people leave after they join?
No, we have a very high retention rate. People don't really leave once they join, but I think the better question is what holds people back from joining, right? I
Yeah.
think to answer
Yeah.
your question, I mean, once they set up their referral engine, it just works for them. And for, again, under $1 a day, it's $357 for the year. It's just a total no-brainer, especially a realtor, for example, that makes $10,000 or more from one single transaction. The ROI is pretty quick and pretty significant. But what holds people back from saying yes is, to them, they may not know, right? A lot of people have a negative opinion of HOAs, and for good reason. HOAs have not in the past been friendly. They haven't really taken care of people the way that they should. They can kind of become known as the community cops instead
Yep.
of the servants of our neighborhood. So we're on a mission to revolutionize homeowner associations. We're going to change how people feel about their HOA. And again, that comes from creating community. And part of that community creation is to connect neighbors. We did a community barbecue recently that I got to go to. It was just not far from my home. It was so cool because there was about 50 people there. I was looking around. The kids are playing basketball. The dads are playing cornhole or bags, whatever you call it up there in Edmonton. And then there's even a kickball game going on. But the coolest thing for me is I was looking around, and again, there's about 50 people. Not one person was on their cell phone. Everybody was just talking to their neighbors, playing, listening to music, having a good time. And that's the way that our neighborhoods should be. So that's the kind of connected community that we're creating. And when people understand that, there's no competition. There's nobody else out there that's doing hyper local social farming like we are, and that's putting on community events, not to mention the automated co-marketing engine that's just done for you and set it and forget it. So we're revolutionizing a number of different things. And I'd say the number one reason that people hold back is that they don't know us yet. And so they distrust what they don't know. Once they see
Yeah.
what we're doing, they're like, wow, there's nothing else like this out there in the world.
Well, and again, if a realtor can get a $10,000 deal, one deal,
Yeah.
how many? I'm not going to do the math, but that's like decades of, their fee paid. And for me as a house owner, if you're having the house, do I want the person with, the ABC so that they're top of the yellow pages, or do I want somebody that, oh, hey, this person works with my realtor? Like, and it's funny because you and I seriously were meant to meet decades ago, because I used to tell that to realtors. Instead of leaving your cards at open houses, go and get a professional graphic designer and create a single page and say, here's my trusted plumber, here's my electrician, and there's my card, and give it to all of those people to give it out. And so it turns out you've taken my idea and scaled it. I mean, it was just a, why wouldn't you? I mean,
Yeah.
when I ran my accounting practice, I did that with all of my clients. I
Yeah.
listed them out and I made sure I introduced them to each other. But that's the thing. If you're the business that helps the people in your community, everybody, at some point is going to be like, oh, yeah, Jeff helped me find the electrician. And oh, for some reason, Brandon, he's in real estate, but he helped me find my pool person. It's,
Right. Yeah, we called it your trusted team. And I used to have a technology platform back in 2010 that I created called trustedteam.com. And we built that and we ended up merging and becoming refer.com. And we built that up to 5 million members. And then we sold that company. We exited in 2019. And so we're really taking the same concept of your trusted team. And on your HOA.com pro profile, you'll have your trusted team. So they're part of your page, part of your profile. And you'll see in your admin dashboard every time one of your partners is promoting you to one of their homeowners. So it's kind of fun to see because you actually get to see a dashboard and see that people are promoting you, which again, I don't know any other platform that does that. But the
yeah.
other piece is we don't think it should be Angie's list. We think it should be Jeff's list. You
Yeah.
as a homeowner should have your list of your top trusted professionals on one page. And that way, anytime you need anything, you know where to go. You don't have to try and remember, oh, where was that plumber and who's the electrician? It's all on your page. And
Yeah.
then you get to share that with others. So that's really what we're creating is this ecosystem around the community that really brings people together and helps them build trusted relationships.
And for those who know me well, Brandon used my favorite word, ecosystem. It baffles me when people want to do one-off stuff. Like,
Oh,
I don't care how good your jingle is. I don't care how much you paid to be on the radio or television. If people don't know you, they're not rushing. I think you said something like 84% of people buy by referrals. So if you think about it for just a minute, all of your marketing dollars are fighting for 16% at best. So, yeah. Whether
it's
you
huge.
work
And
in
Jeff, if I know you and somebody else is trying to sell me the same service, I'm going to go with the guy that was recommended to me every single time. I don't want to go with a stranger because I don't trust them.
no,
When somebody gets referred to you, the trust factor is high, your credibility is higher. Those people will spend more money with you, they will refer you more often. That's why you want to use the referral effect.
well, it's funny, and we had a windstorm years and years ago that took off half of our brand new roof,
Oh,
and the builder was like, should we send the original roofer back? And I'm like, based on the quality of work, no. And again, there were other things, the assessment from the insurance company, they were talking about the product was inferior, the installation
yeah,
was done incorrectly.
yeah.
um, and then we brought in another roofer who did an equally bad job, and we had to have
Mm.
torn off and redone. And neighbors are like, "Oh, we saw that truck in front of your house. We need help with our roof. Should we call them?" And it was like, "No, hard no. You find somebody good, let us know because we need one." So,
Right.
you know,
Well, that's what we're building in our platform is, and this doesn't exist yet. This is future state, but as a homeowner, you're going to be able to search your community and see who's the top trusted painter, plumber, electrician, roofer in your neighborhood, right? Like who do your neighbors hire and trust for all of their services and recommend? And when we get it to that local, hyper local basis, and one person is committing themselves to serving that community, they have to do a good job or they're going to be blackballed.
yeah.
So, we stand in the gap. We're champions for homeowners. We want to make sure that the homeowner gets served right. the first time, every time.
I love that. And I think, my 2 cents, if you live in a community and you're parking your trade truck in front of your house every night, why wouldn't you want to be the trusted trade in that neighborhood? I just can't help but think, today's Halloween as we're recording this. If I'm known in my neighborhood and I do good work, my kids are going to get way better candy.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. And, the reality is you don't have to go far. You should be owning your local community. It's the first thing that we recommend is that if your community hasn't already been licensed for your industry, you should start in your own backyard, become known by every single homeowner in that neighborhood. Because if they know that you live in the neighborhood and you're committed to taking care of your neighbors, why wouldn't you want to hire a neighbor?
Yeah. I mean, it's a virtuous cycle. Everybody wins.
And you're going to
Now,
get better
Brandon,
service. You're going to get better service
absolutely.
because they're local. They don't have to drive so far, and they're going to care because their reputation is on the line in your neighborhood.
Yep. And that's the thing. I don't want a trade who came through and, did my roof and then disappeared. I want the guy down the block I can say, "Hey, do you have another something?" Like, you want that trust. So,
That's right.
Brandon, I could talk to you all day. My people get referrals.
Love it.
So I'm gonna say, is there anything I should have asked you that I haven't? Because I feel like we're just touching the tip of the iceberg here.
Well, the number one recommendation I always have for entrepreneurs is get clear on what it is that you're out to, and that's your goals. The number two thing is to ask for what you want. Anything you want in life is possible, but you've got to be bold, courageous, and ask others for what it is that you want. So if you don't give other people the opportunity to serve you by helping you, then you're missing out on the boat, and you're also missing out on an opportunity to help them help you. So be clear on what you're asking for and ask more often, and you'll get what you want more often.
I love it. Now, how can people learn more? They just go to HOA.com.
Yeah, HOA.com. And if you're a professional who serves homeowner, up at the top right, you'll see a Become a Pro button. Click that. You can apply and get into our system. And then, anybody that's interested in connecting with me directly, you can go to brandonbarnum.com. There's a calendar link on there. You'll find links to raving referrals, and the referral score quiz is a great free quiz that you can take. You'll also find information on Bank Code. This is a personality system that'll help you close more sales in less time by understanding who your prospect is and how to really connect with them and communicate with them to help them make a buying decision faster. So all that's on brandonbarnum.com.
I love it. I love it. So thank you very much for being on the show, Brandon. I learned a lot and I enjoyed our conversation. So thank you.
Likewise, Jeff, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, and I hope everybody takes action because action activates the law of attraction. It's in the word. Take action.
I love it. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our show. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we invite you to either click the link below or scan the QR code to register and listen to other episodes of our podcast. Or if you think your business or you would be a great guest to be on our show, we're always looking for experts in one of the 9 elements of holistic wellness. We'd love to have you. You can either click the link below or you can scan the QR code and complete our speaker intake form. Thank you, and to your wellness.